Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of Pedal and Play in Canada. Today I'll be talking about my problems with the O Train Line 4. Well, where do I start? There's a whole bunch of problems with O Train Line 4, but I don't want to make it sound like it's really bad since it hasn't opened yet, but here are my problems that I'm seeing with it during its development. First of all, the platform at the airport station is too short for the new Stadler flirts that are being used on O Train Line 2. Well, I know you guys are probably saying in the comments, well, the Stadler flirt isn't being used on O Train Line 4. But, well, yeah, sure it isn't, but the old lints are, and they're short enough, and they fit on the platform. But let's think about the future generations of Ottawa and OC Transpo, and how many more riders are going to be coming in to the airport and from the airport. Considering after COVID there's so many demand and so many people traveling to the world, and the demand for air travel has really surged, Ottawa and OC Transpo could really use this as an opportunity to bring in extra passengers and prove its O-Train network once again. Well, first of all, I think that it's too short because if it can't fit the flirts, then what about the future passengers that are going to be coming on, and they could accommodate so many more passengers with the big trains. Well, personally, the old lints are getting old, and since they're purchased secondhand from Deutsche Bahn, I don't know when, but I'll put that up on the screen, a long time ago, but now they're getting old and Ottawa's replacing them, but the flirts are big and beautiful. I like them a lot, and they don't even fit on those platforms. Even the double stacked O-Train lints don't even fit there either. So that's just one of my problems I have. Second of all is there's only like one track. It's single tracked the whole way up until South Keys. So that means less frequency. And if it's an airport express or an airport shuttle from airport to South Keys station, it's not going to get as many riders since there's not as much frequency. And well, my problem with the double track is if you have double tracked the whole way, like if trains are trying to go both ways, they're going to hit each other, so that won't work out. So in the end, that just means less frequency, but there's the infrastructure is already there, and the bridges and overpasses they've built don't look like they could even support double tracking even if they tried. So it would take a big overhaul, but that's only looking to the future, if maybe even they would consider that as an option. Another problem I have with this line is it doesn't go directly to Bayview, or in other words, it doesn't connect downtown. Well, I've always been hoping it would turn out something like the Toronto Pearson Express, where it goes from Union Station to Toronto Pearson Airport, but it looks like we're not going to be getting that either, because it's only going to South Keys, so Ottawa Airport and then to South Keys, instead of just a continuous ride all the way down to Bayview. Then you transfer onto O-Train Line 1 and futurely O-Train Line 3, which will bring you to Canada and Orleans and down to Nepean area. But that won't be possible because you're going to have to transfer from O-Train Line 4, otherwise known as the airport line, at South Keys to take a Line 2 train down to Bayview. Personally, what I think is really bad about this is if you're coming home from the airport or trying to get home from the airport, you're taking the train and you really just want to like sit down because you've had a long flight, but then at South Keys you're gonna have to transfer. Like, that doesn't offer the same convenience as just bam, you're at South Keys, just stop, pick up some extra passengers, and then bolt down to downtown and stop at the stops along the way. But instead, Ottawa just decided to only make it to South Keys, then you transfer to Line 2. So now for the solutions. So here's what I'm proposing. I'm proposing a 4-track electrified corridor that Line 2 and 4 can both run on until Line 4 branches off. So yes, this plan might cause problems for South Keys Station because South Keys only has 2 tracks running into it, so I'm kind of proposing we do one platform with the Line 2 trains, and then another one with the Line 4 trains, so that Line 4 can have double track, which means greater frequency, greater greater speed since they don't have to wait for the sidings. And since at Uplands there's already a double tracked and it expands like just right off when line 4 branches off, I might as well just go the extra effort and put in all double tracked on line 4 because it enables greater frequency, greater speeds, and if it's fast and frequent, means more riders. And then where line 2 this comes in is, I know we would have to electrify the whole rail corridor, but we might not have to, maybe just line 4, the airport line, because since line 4 is using separate rolling stock, such as the Alstom Linz, we won't need to electrify line 2 because they're using different trains. So even if we just electrify line 4, it's a step in the right direction for the near future. But for line 2, what I'm saying is, out of South Keys, there's one track for line 2 and one track for line 4. In the video I was showing, it gives you the illusion it's double tracked, but really it just branches off, and it's a single track for line 2. So what I'm proposing is just double track line 2 from South Keys all the way to Leitrim or Limebank, whichever the next station is, because it, greater speed, greater frequency, and all that stuff. But the electrified rail corridor reminds me of something about like having all those trains. It looks really cool, having double track on line 4, having both those Linz and the flirts coming on from line 2. It would be really cool in my opinion, because I always see these rail corridors in Europe and stuff, and it looks really cool for the electrified trains. Also, another bonus for electrified trains would be less pollution, and considering OC Transpo is struggling right now, it would be a big expense that they wouldn't have to make if they didn't have to buy diesel for their trains, at least on line 4. In the end, O-Train line 4 hasn't opened yet. I'm sure it's going to be great when it opens, and I support Ottawa and OC Transpo building it because they finally need a rail link between the airport and South Keys. Well, I'd rather it be downtown to the airport, but at least we're getting it. Some cities don't even have it, and they're bigger than Ottawa. So in a way, Ottawa is taking a step in the right direction. Thank you for listening to this episode of Pedal and Plan Canada. Catch us next week.